Good morning, everybody. Just wanted to make a video real quick. It seems like always that's my lead in. Let me adjust the monitor here real quick. Today is July 19th, 2018. It's my day, I think 2.070, 270 or 70. And I just came back from my second counseling session, and I think how this ties into the channel is what I would call post-op depression, but maybe not. And we'll skip over the mundane of life because life is challenging enough as it is, but we're going to focus just on the transgender stuff here. Although I will say that life and transgender, it all just kind of merges together at some point. So maybe I'll fail there, but anyway. But I wanted to record just a couple things because I watch my videos back as I dilate and try and learn from the past and whatnot. So while it's fresh in my mind, I just want to make the video. One thing that my counselor brought up that I did not expect was the idea of grief. And she had asked me if, had I ever grieved who I was? In other words, did I grieve my former male facsimile personality, facade, etc., etc.? And even that language is a bit of an indicator of where I think she was driving at. We say the false self or our authentic self. It was a term that I come across. Holly Knight had used it a couple years ago, and it just latched on. That was truth to me. And I think authentic self is what it is. But what I think my counselor was getting at was we are an amalgamation of who we are our entire lives. We say our male selves and our female selves. I mean, it's a way of talking about it. It's a way of putting a label on something. Obviously, conversation. You need labels. You need that. And somewhat compartmentalizing things. I can say my pre-op existence, my post-op existence. But what she said was, and we'll get more on that in a minute, but just humor me for the moment. She said to me, did you ever mourn or grieve? Go through the grieving process for your former male self. And I don't necessarily think I have. And I'll process this more, but like I said, I just want to remember the topic. And she said, part of ritual, things that we do, we have an opening and a closing. She said, things like washing the dishes. She says when she cooks, she washes the dishes first, or she washes her pots. It's part of the opening of cooking. And then she cooks. The closure. She said, as part of the transition, what sort of closure? Do you have closure? Do you feel like you have closure on the male self? And possibly addressing the need for, for that, to address it and say, even as something as simple as writing a letter or a journal entry, a thank you note, in my case to say, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Robert, for carrying me as far as you did. And as a way of accepting the grieving the loss of that other person or that former self. And so that to me is kind of an interesting thing. I mean, something for me to think about as part of uh, possibly, that's some of the repercussions, or some of the doubt or the depression or whatnot where I am right now as post-op, is grieving who I was previously, the passage of that person, and integrating that person into myself. So that's something that probably could be a whole topic or a book, about grieving and grieving our former selves. And so again, I need to do some soul searching on that and pick that apart. But I thought it was an interesting point. Have we grieved our former selves? Okay. The other thing, which more is related, I think, to my post-op depression, is the idea of, number one, living in the present moment. Number two, I've been talking a lot about happiness and seeking happiness. And instead of trying to be happy, or the pursuit of happiness, the idea of being at peace, being content, the present moment. And I think that's a huge thing that I'm going to try and dissect and food for thought, for lack of a better word. And probably that could apply to anybody, for any situation. Are you in the present moment? Are you in the here and now? Are you content? I know that in my life, in the last 3 months, obviously there's been a huge medical shift. I've changed my sex. I mean, gender is one thing, but I mean, that this post surgery, you're changing your sex. I mean, you were an innie, now you're an outie, or you're an outie, now you're an innie. You were an outie. Now I was an outie, now I'm an innie. As things are now settling, all of this chaos and whatnot, our physical body is settling, and our energy body is settling. Masculine, feminine, you could probably read a lot into that. But the idea of, being in the present moment and letting things settle and saying, okay, if I'm in the present moment, how am I doing right now? I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain right now. The moment that I go into the past, there might be some comparison, some depression. When I think about the future, there might be some anxiety. What's going to happen a month from now? What's going to happen 3 months from now? And so the idea is to be in the present moment, right now. Right now. That's all there is. With the idea of trying to be at peace with the right now. And again, I haven't had time to process this yet, but, again, from a post-op depression point of view, lamenting what was in the past and worrying about what might be, you can see where there's some chaos and unpleasantness, right? As opposed to, or non-peaceful things, as opposed to living in the current moment where there is peace, and trying to be at peace and saying, okay, am I content? Am I at peace at this moment? And living moment to moment. I was trying to live day to day with some success. Now it's a matter of moment to moment. So I'd share that with you. And the other thing, the last thing that I'll put here was about labels. I'm a post-op. I'm a pre-op. I'm transgender. Male, female. The simplest thing is just to be. It's just to say, I am. I am Karen. Or I am, fill in your name. That is something, again, that why put ourselves in a box? You know, why say, well, I'm a post-op, and then you're gonna be, well, I'm a post-op, and I'm a post-post-post-op, and whatnot. You know, I am Karen. I am a woman. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna fill that out, but I thought I'd share that with you. So three nuggets to think about, and whatnot. So on that note, I will close out because I want to get back into the present moment here, and I've got some other stuff to do. So, but I wanted to record it. Just again, might help you out, might help me out. I hope so. I hope so. So I will wish everyone good luck in your journey. I will wish you the best of luck in becoming the best version of yourself as you define it. Okay? And until next time, good luck, my friends. We need it. Bye-bye.